What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We are back. Massive weekend ahead. Liverpool Arsenal Prematch show. Here we are. As always, we're your hosts, Wahomie and Steven. Andrew will be joining us momentarily. But for this huge match this weekend, we had to bring on a very special guest. He has his own YouTube channel. Go check it out, AlbertJTV. We have Albert, our resident Arsenal supporter. Albert, what is going on, man? Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
No, you know what? I think for me, it's a privilege to be asked to come on other people's channels that don't support Arsenal. So, yeah, absolutely, come on and support the football community, man. So, I'll try and represent my team as best as possible.
Appreciate that. It should be hot episode.
I've checked out a few of your shows when I found out you were coming on, and you do great content. So I think you'll rep the Gunner fan base very, very strongly here. But
Thank you.
Before we dive into it, we were talking about it before we jumped on. Thoughts and prayers to Claude from Arsenal TV, his family, his friends, anybody who knew him. Social media can be a toxic place sometimes. And when you see stuff like this happen, it's truly heartbreaking. This guy was, in my opinion, just everything that you'd hope for out of a supporter. He was very respectful to anybody he came in contact with. You could always approach him and say hello, it seemed like. And he loved Arsenal and he loved what he did. And it's just heartbreaking when you see stuff like this happen. Hopefully as, rival fan bases, hopefully this can kind of help all of us come together, be nicer to each other. Like, it's always fun to have banter and that sort of a thing, but we never want to see it get to this level where you're, causing stuff like this to happen. And, thoughts and prayers to anyone that was close to him. We're always thinking about you. We're always here for you. My DMs are always open if you have mental health issues or anything like that. Yeah. Let's all just try to come together, be nicer to each other. And, we want to dedicate this show to him and have a lot of fun today, in his honor. So, Albert, I don't know if you want to say anything as well from the Arsenal side.
No, I appreciate that, man. No. Thanks for the kind words. I never met Claude personally or sort of had any interaction with him, but obviously, from the AFTV days, watching it over the last 5-6 years, maybe. But I do know a lot of people who were very close to him. And I think irrespective, I think this is the problem with social media, which you touched on with the mental health thing. If you're somebody that does sort of have any sort of mental health issues going on, you combine that with football Twitter, it's not a good recipe, man. And irrespective of whatever you thought of Claude or the misgivings and whatever, he had a passion for Arsenal, the club that he loves. And, when things like this happen and the way the news broke the way it did, it was a shocker. It shocked me to the core, man. And, I think sometimes you have to put things and any beefs or any troubles that were there before and just sort of, you do think of the good times when people have gone. Unfortunately, it shouldn't have to get to that point. But, many sort of heartfelt condolences to the close friends of his that kind of stuck with him through thick and thin, even when maybe things might not have been 100%. So, yeah, like I said, I tweeted something yesterday because I kind of took a back seat in regards to jumping on the Twitter thing, and I'm involved in a few Arsenal group chats and things are popping off. I thought, let me take a back seat and I'll put my thing out on Instagram and Twitter, and I just said, look, the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, when somebody maybe a bit fragile or they need a bit of help or there are sort of mental health issues there, and he openly talked about depression as well, Claude, which I respect anybody that does talk about that, because one thing that's very critical of men is that we don't talk and we don't open up about our feelings, and when it's okay to ask for help and it's okay not to be okay. So I can't say for sure what support he had or didn't have, but I'm sure there were people that tried to go the extra mile and try and help him, but yeah, we don't know the circumstances. I'm not going to speculate about that, but just may his soul rest in peace. And massive love to the guys that I know who are podcast with sometimes, who are very close to him. So, my heart goes out to them and obviously his friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I mean, Mohammed, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think you guys echoed it, precisely. I didn't know him, but I saw what when I watched Arsenal fan TV, and I saw like, he was a very passionate man. He was very clearly loved the club. From how passionate he was about seeing Arsenal achieve trophies again. So it's obviously it's a sad moment for anyone to pass, especially during now lockdown. So yeah, my heart goes out to obviously to his family, and also the Arsenal fan base, because obviously they lost some part of the family. So sad, and just obviously rest in peace. And hopefully, like I said before, off camera, that hopefully this brings the Arsenal fan base closer together, and they can galvanise the season now and use that as a way to achieve better things for Claude.
No, well said.
Absolutely. And Shane here in the chat looks like we've got an Arsenal fan in the house. We appreciate you coming and checking this out, Shane. Glad the Premier League's back with a nice easy one, Liverpool. See, this is the type of banter that I like right here. Keep it to stuff like this right here, Shane. I completely disagree that it's going to be an easy one for you, but rest in peace, Claude. Absolutely. We got Andrew in here now. What's going on, Andrew? We just wanted to send our condolences out to Claude from AFTV.
Yeah, I just heard that. Big respect to Claude and to AFTV in general. So hopefully, like what homie just said, hopefully they can just rally around this. Definitely heartbreaking, but he was a living legend. So I'm glad that he had so much respect out there right now. So much love to him.
Well, in Claude's honor, I think we got to try to have some fun on this episode. So let's get into it. I mean, everyone in the chat, we appreciate you guys. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. And any Arsenal fan in here, go check out AlbertJTV, his YouTube page. Go give him a like and subscribe as well. Looks like right now in the chat, we have 2 Arsenal fans right now. We're being outnumbered, guys. We need more.
I'll send that tweet out right there here, man. My boys are here.
Welcome.
Oh boy, Glenn Knightley,
yeah,
another Arsenal guy here. I checked out his channel the other day. Absolutely great stuff he's doing too. So if you haven't yet, check out his channel as well. Doing awesome work over there on Everything Arsenal YouTube page. Mick, thank God we got a Liverpool supporter in here. Good to see you, buddy.
I love Mick. I know Mick. Mick's cool, man. I love Mick.
He's great. And I use their discount code on my manscaping product. So cheers to you, Mick. Thanks so much for that discount. But let's get into it here. Already starting off with some laughs. So let's get right into it. Albert, where we'd like to kind of kick things off, especially when we have rival fans on, is I want to talk about, the beginning of the season for you and ultimately the summer business. You guys brought in, the party, made some other small moves here, but what did you think of Arsenal's transfer business and who's been working out, who hasn't been working out for you?
Cool. What a question. You know what it is? When people were sort of marking the transfer window in the summer, out of 10, I see some Arsenal fans giving it 8s, giving it 9s. And I'm thinking I must have been watching a different transfer window, because I know what it was. I think they came into the start of the season with optimism for winning the FA Cup, and then we beat you lads at Wembley in the Community Shield. Optimism. But I thought, you know what? I can't ignore the season before, and we finished, in our worst position in the Premier League since 94-95. We finished 12th. We finished 8th for last season. So I said that we wouldn't get top 4, to be honest, mate. And I said that before we bought anyone. And I said that even though we bought Thomas Partey. One of the biggest issues with Arsenal, guys, if like for me and probably some guys agree in the chat who's come over from the Arsenal side, but our recruitment's been terrible. Actually, to be honest, it's been appalling over the years. And we one thing we haven't done or didn't do was address the spine of the team, but we did that by getting Gabriel. Yes, he was raw, and there seems to be this thing. You guys might agree, where if you play in a league outside the Premier League, it's the Farmers League, or it's not good enough. I hear that a lot. Yeah. I say to people, well, look, where did Yuri Tielemans come from at Leicester? I take him at Arsenal, without a doubt. But I gave the transfer window a 7 out of 10. Partey was an excellent signing. Obviously, we know the pedigree there. the kind of player we haven't had at Arsenal for years. That's the problem. We've been buying the same type of players, but we haven't been buying the players that we need. Going back to the Vieira days, or a Gilberto Silva, or having a commanding centre back. We never had that. But Gabriel was very happy. He was very, very, very sought after. Very sought after. And from what I've seen, very, very impressed. And Thomas Partey, he's going to need. He's had the injuries, unfortunately, but he will come good. He will come good eventually.
Yeah, Albert, I just want to ask: Are you Arteta in? Or are you an Arteta out type of supporter?
Oh, I knew that question.
You're live, by the way. You're live. You're live.
No, of course, man. You know what? It's a good question. It's a good question. When other Arsenal fans have asked me, I never get caught up in the whole Arteta in, Arteta out. And I'll tell you why. When we had the run where we didn't win for like 2.5 months, we beat United 1-0 at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
We broke that hoodoo of not beating a top six side away from home in about 27, 28 games. Horrendous record. We win that game. And then we go on a horrendous run for about 2 and a bit months. And I said to people, look, stop asking me Arteta in, Arteta out. If a manager, experienced or not, is not getting results, it's a results business, he will get the chop. But the only difference at Arsenal is because we had a manager for such a long time in Arsene Wenger, and when Unai Emery come in, there wasn't, Arteta was never going to get sacked. The only way he would have got sacked is if Arsenal were in the relegation zone, which sounds crazy to say if you're as an Arsenal fan, being as big a club as we are. But with Arteta, I think the problem with Arteta you've got with him amongst the Arsenal fan base is there's no grey area. Either they want him absolutely gone, or they're just blind faith this guy's going to come good and he's the next best thing since joint Klopp Guardiola put together. But there's no grey area in the middle. It's just I want him gone, or Arteta out. It's crazy. Our fan base is mad. You guys would have seen it on Twitter just alone. So I want him to do well. There's a lot of people that have got their own sort of personal reasons as to why they don't want Arteta there. But you know what? I think the fact we won the FA Cup last season and the fact that we're still in Europa League probably is giving him a little bit more grace.
Do you get a feel, though, that he's maybe like starting to build something? Because, you look at Chelsea, for example, and they go through managers. The moment there's a tough spell, they're gone. I just feel like, especially when Arteta took over last year, I was like, okay, it finally seems like Arsenal's getting back to Arsenal-style football. You start seeing those crafty passes from the backs going all the way through the midfield, up into the front line. So I feel like he just needs kind of more time to not only bring in the right players, but also just get back to their true identity. I mean, do you feel like with more time, and maybe getting in a couple more guys that fit his system, things can start turning around?
Firstly, I think he will get that time. I think he'll get the time even if Arsenal don't win the Europa League. But then in football you're allowed to change your mind. But with Arsenal's board, listen, if you ask any Arsenal fans, they trust him. No, they don't. They won't trust him as far as they can throw him. So he'll get the time because I just don't see Arsenal sacking him.
Mm-hmm.
We don't plan very well. That's the problem. So there's no contingency when it comes to Arsenal. But what's that say? I'll tell you that. Yeah, I saw that comment. Stop dancing around the question. It's not dancing around the question, man. Like, if the manager don't get the results, he's gonna get sacked. It's common sense. But Arsenal's probably the exception to the rule for that question because we've not had that many managers in the last 30 odd years. So yeah, hopefully that's not dancing around the question.
My thing is though, like I just think he needs time. I think the Arsenal fans need to be patient. Like Steven said, you don't want to be like Chelsea fans that are asking for Frank to be axed after 5 bad games or 6 bad games or whatever it is. I just think he needs time. He's a young manager. Man United gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time, and look where they are right now. They're in second place. I don't think he's a good manager. I think he's an awful manager. I think that Arteta just needs to win over the squad, which seems like he's done since like that halfway point in the season where you guys started to see a little bit poor results. But he started playing some of the younger guys. Smith Rowe started to play. Saka started to play. You started to form an identity. And I think that you have that now. That's why, I haven't really been afraid of Arsenal as a Liverpool fan for the past 4 years under Klopp, but this game I'm worried about because this is a team.
That's very good to hear.
This is a good team. This is a good team that we're going to be playing against, and I don't know how they're going to line up. We can get into that a little later, but I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you know the funny thing of Arteta is when he first come to Arsenal, and if any Arsenal fan doesn't admit this and they're lying, I'm sorry. When he gave that first press conference, he had every Arsenal fan. The way he spoke, he's articulate, intelligent, he's saying the right things. But I think there was also in the back of a lot of Arsenal fans' minds that we're given a job to a guy who's never managed before, and we was prepared to give him a job before Unai Emery. So, you know, I've never seen it at a big football club where you give a rookie manager their first job, but I've never seen that happen in my entire football lifetime. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Homie, before you get to your question, I just want welcome back, fella. Always good to have you in here. Sophie's in here. Arsenal would take a 3-legged cow in the back, I think is what she was saying. Maybe. Aliyaka, good to have you back. We appreciate you. Let's see who else in here. LFC Gamer. We're going to get to this point, LFC Gamer. We're definitely going to talk about it on this episode, so I appreciate you bringing that up. But otherwise, yeah, go ahead, homie.
No, I was just going to ask you, like, what do you take an Odegaard? Because I think, like, he started a bit slow, but now he's looking like, really good, you know, like in terms of, and also I know in the summer, Arsenal badly after an attacking midfielder. You came close to Aouar, but couldn't get him over the line. So how do you feel that Odegaard has solved that problem for you in the games he's played, in terms of that attacking midfielder? And also then, how do you feel about him potentially? Obviously, you don't have like a clause in the loan that says you can buy him permanently. So obviously, there's a chance that Madrid might put the price up even higher because of how good he's playing for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you feel about potentially losing him in terms of the transfer if he doesn't go? If Madrid don't want to sell him as well?
It's an interesting one with Odegaard, because when we sort of brought him in, I mean, I'm one of them people. I'm not gonna if I don't know anything about a player, I'm not gonna sit there and talk through my backside and make it seem like I know what I'm talking about. So you do your homework, you do your due diligence, you find out about this kid. There's a lot of I always say to some Arsenal fans, like, watch football outside of watching Arsenal. Sometimes it does help, believe it or not. when you form an opinion about someone, but I thought let me see him play. And YouTube clips are not the best thing to go by, but if you've never heard of a footballer, what else can you go by? So I could see why Arsenal fans got excited with the type of player that he is. You know, Mesut Ozil-esque, should I say. But you know, he hadn't played a lot of football, to be fair. That was the first thing. So he's come to Arsenal with not a lot of game time under his belt, you know, because Zidane, for some reason, maybe doesn't rate him or doesn't see him as part of his plans. But I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen. You know, finds the pockets of space, able to pass the ball from eye of a needle. Because one thing that Arsenal fans used to be a bugbear for them was that we're not giving Aubameyang the chances, not getting into the final third, we're not giving him opportunities to score. But we're doing that now. We're just not taking our chances. And what I like about Odegaard is the most simple thing is he actually has a shot at goal, which Arsenal seem to be scared of doing from anything from 18 yards outwards, which you think is just crackers. I think I saw something, or someone told me about Arsenal have got one of the worst sort of records in the league. I think it's over a 5-10 year period from actually having shots outside the box, which is not a surprise.
Liverpool's there too.
Is Liverpool there too as well?
Probably.
Yeah. So no, I've been very impressed with Odegaard, man. That's the thing. It's good to see a player in the attacking final third who can add goals. He's got a couple, and can go, because with ESR you've got someone that can go beyond the strikers. With Odegaard, he's not really like that. He's more silky. He's more guile of touch. And now I've been very impressed. It's going to be very difficult to get him from Madrid if Arsenal was serious in wanting to get him. But I think what Arsenal fans will want to see, just say for example, even if we didn't get him, what Arsenal fans want to see is try at least make an attempt. If you want to be a big football club as such, make an attempt to try and get these guys. When Arsenal fans see that, they'll be like, okay, you know what? We tried to get him, but we couldn't get him. But it'd be interesting to see what happens, because if they don't make the play now, and you wait, for example, when the Euros happens and he has an amazing tournament for Norway, for example, and the price shoots up and this and that, it can happen. But it depends how serious Arsenal are and want to take this guy on a permanent.
Also, you opted for Kerr as a replacement as well, backup.
What's that?
You after for Kerr? I saw an article by Goal saying that you guys like the look of Naby Fekir as a backup to Odegaard if you couldn't get him.
Well, I mean, we're linked with everybody for the last 5-10 years of our transfer window. What's it? Our
an article by Goal saying that you guys like the look of Naby Fekir as a.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I with that, I think with him, I think the ship has sailed. I think that happens with when players get linked to certain clubs. If you're not in the moment, if you don't make that transfer happen at the time when you be linked with him the first time round, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't see it happening personally.
Well, you talked about Aubameyang a little bit in there, and I wanted to just kind of get your opinion on his season. So he's still the captain and everything, but he was dropped for the derby recently. So I mean, what's going on there? I mean, I haven't watched too many Arsenal games this year, but has his form fallen off that much that he's not trusted in the derby?
It's a good forget what too many games is Arsenal this season. With Aubameyang, it's a really strange one, man. This guy was, top goal scorer in the first few years of, in each season from the Premier League. I think he won it outright one season and was joined, the following season with Salah and Mane. Is that right? But I don't think he's ever had this kind of fall off in his career. And I think the thing that concerns Arsenal fans the most is that, we went through a long period with the whole Mesut Ozil saga and, being on a lot of money and, rotting in the reserves. And then we've kind of done the same thing with Willian, coming on the free, but on a very, very big contract, for his age. Aubameyang is crazy because before, like I mentioned earlier, there was a period where he wasn't getting the service, he wasn't getting the chances, the midfield weren't creating anything for him, but that's not the case this season. He could have had about 5 hat-tricks this season. And he's the person you want on the end of thing to put the ball in the back of the net. I think the only reason why he got the captaincy originally was because of the whole Xhaka incident last season against Crystal Palace. I don't personally think Aubameyang wanted the captaincy, if I'm being honest with you. I think he was the only option at the time. And I said before that if Arsenal were going to go down the route of taking the captaincy off of him, which I actually don't think he would mind personally, I think they had 2 opportunities to do it. They could have either done it when obviously we knew about the outside influences in terms of his mum not being particularly very well. I don't know, a conversation could have been had there between Arteta and him to say, look, Uber, we're going to, just concentrate on, your mum and whatever. Then when you come back, you've got less pressure in terms of the captaincy. That could have happened. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it did happen, but it could have happened. That could have been a situation. Or the second situation where they could have taken the captaincy was recently when, he got dropped for North London derby. Yeah. Those are the only 2 occasions, but I don't think it will happen now. I'm hoping, because we're at the crunch point of the season, that Aubameyang, I don't know, just maybe he's going to wake up one day and just be amazing and whatever. Because when he went away for Gabon, he looked like a completely different player. He looked like there was no pressure there, or I don't know, not being in London or not being at Arsenal. But for Gabon, I saw a completely different player. But I'm hoping now he's come back and he's got a lot of credit in the bank, as they say, because the goals he scored for us. And I understand that. But for me, there's times when I don't think he should have been in the team because he's not scoring, he's missing chances. His overall game, which hasn't been that great in his career generally anyway, in terms of hold-up play and bringing people in, sort of went by the wayside. And it'd be interesting to see what happens from now to the end of the season. Hopefully he gets a hat-trick against Liverpool on Saturday.
Don't like that. A couple things in the chat here, Andrew, before I flip it back over to you. Chris Welch, good to have you, man. Let us know what channel you were on. Love to check that out. LFC Gamer, Odegaard with Stevie G fan, almost joined us in 2015. I remember that. Yeah, I think he was only like 18 years old at the time.
Wow, yeah.
I wish that move went through. I remember following that one closely. Russ Morgan, good to have you in here, lad. Appreciate you. DWTT, as always, appreciate you as well. Chris Welch put in his prediction. We'll get to this later. He's 2-2 draw. I fucking hope not. That would be bad for him. And then Shane here. Pity we won't see Saka versus Trent Saturday night. That is a pity.
They're saying, I know before the international break, he played against.
Might miss it, right?
Yeah, and he didn't play. He didn't. Apparently, he was. Listen, if he's not injured, I'm not going to cry about it. He misses a couple of England games. I'm happy. Comes back strong for Arsenal. So apparently, there's the rumors that he may not be fit.
Oh, okay.
Possibly.
My question to you, Albert, is just kind of get into the game a little bit. Well, what kind of what's the formation that you would likely expect to see in this one, and who's the personnel that would fit that formation?
Cool. Good. If anybody see my content, man, Mikel Arteta, I try to guess this guy's first 11 team is.
He's like Guardiola, man. Just like Guardiola.
It is. What he has done, Arteta, is that he stuck to a formation now. People will criticize the personnel, but he stuck to a formation. You know, he's got rid of playing the three centre backs and two wing backs. So it will be a 4-2-3-1 formation, definitely. The 11's going to be hard.
Sorry, do you expect Arsenal to kind of sit in against us, like a lot of teams have done this year and found success, or just kind of hit us on the counter, especially with our two new center backs, or do you expect them to just play football, attack? This is kind of what we were debating last night.
No, I think when we've played the bigger teams under Arteta, I've never seen us. I would say, other than maybe the FA Cup final against Chelsea, where we actually started the game pretty well, which you don't start games well, generally speaking. But against the bigger teams, he does set us up in a kind of more of a, not, I won't say defensive, but we're not exactly on the front foot either. So I would expect to see that, even though Liverpool have been in the form they've been in this season, I would still expect to see that even with us at home, because Liverpool, let's be fair, they're still a dangerous side, man.
So what is the formation, like what is the formation that he's kind of settled in on?
The 4-2-3-1. So I would expect Bellerin to be right back, even though I wouldn't have him as right back. Leno's in goal, Bellerin right back, Tierney left back. I'm hoping it'll be Gabriel and it'll probably be Luiz, the two centre backs. Xhaka and Partey as the pivot. The front four is difficult. Oh dear. So if Saka's fit, Saka on the right, Ødegaard sort of behind the main striker, who I'm going to go for Aubameyang, and I would have. I'll probably have ESR on the left of a 3. And Aubameyang.
So you're benching Lacazette.
Yeah, I think that would happen. There's a lot of games. I actually think he's been unlucky not to get a bit more game time. But you know, I've always said that when you play that formation, the 4-2-3-1, you can't play Aubameyang and Lacazette together. I just personally think it upsets the balance of the team. So you have to have one as the main striker, or you can't. To me, you don't play both of them. It's counterproductive.
Well, this is the kind of question for everybody. So when I think of both of our teams, I kind of think both of our teams thrive off of building momentum, you know, and putting in a string of results together and trying to build off of that. We saw Liverpool had two wins for the first time in a very long time, back to back, going into the international break. On the other side, I think Arsenal was coming off a draw against West Ham and then I think a loss to Olympiacos. So now that we've had a full 2 weeks off, some of our guys have gone on international break. You know, do you think that long 2-week absence of, you know, being able to train as a team and everything, do you think that's going to be an advantage or a disadvantage for either one of these teams?
I don't think, you know what, I don't think it will. Because we're fortunate we didn't. I don't think Thomas Partey travelled, for example. But I think we knew that even sort of when the West Ham game came around. We knew Saka wasn't going to go away for England. I'm trying to think. Lacazette hasn't been called up for France for about 3-4 years. So 3 years, I'd probably say he's not going to go. We know obviously Aubameyang went away. I think we was quite fortunate with our team. Bellerin not part of the Spanish squad on a consistent basis. So other than probably Tierney, and a couple of others, there wasn't that many that went away for national duty. So I don't think it made that big a difference personally.
Yeah, I think for us, we only had really Robbo, Salamane, Gini, and Jota really go away, and Simicas. Otherwise, majority of them stayed at home because all the Brazilians stayed at home. Most of the English players weren't there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good for us in terms of, even like someone like Thiago, he only played I think once for 20 minutes. Then he wasn't really used for the last game Spain had, so he was barely used. So I think overall, for Liverpool, normally I'd say breaks don't really help us because we're a momentum team. But I think the good thing for Klopp is he's had most of the bulk of the squad at Kirkby, so he's been able to train for this game. So I don't think it's personally. I think both teams will start slow. I don't think any team either will come out the block quickly. I think it'd be one of those slow games, the first 15 minutes.
I want to ask you guys, what have you made of Thiago since he's come to Liverpool?
I don't think he's been set up for opinion. I think that he's been asked to do things that I wouldn't say that he's not comfortable with, but just doesn't bring out the best of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Having to play Fabinho and Henderson at center back, really making him play the 6 for the majority of his time here. We haven't been able to see the best of him. Obviously, I think he does need to move the ball a little bit faster, but I think that would have come if we put him in a more advanced position and allowed him to really be creative. But I feel like he's really, especially when he was playing the 6, I think it got to his head a little bit, trying to make too many tackles and trying to be a little bit too aggressive. But we have seen, the best that we saw of him was before he got injured beginning of the season, Chelsea and Everton, when he got to play with Fabinho and Henderson in the midfield. He looked great. I think now with Fabinho in there, we're starting to see him kind of come back around again. And I think ultimately going forward for the rest of the season, he's going to be massive for us. But I still think all the talent's there. I think next year is going to be a massive year for him. I just think he hasn't had the ability to show what he can do yet.
Yeah, no, I thought that.
What do you think, Andrew?
No, I think you said everything. You basically said everything I was going to say. But for me, it's just kind of he came to a new league, a completely new system under Jurgen Klopp, new personnel. It was going to be a tough adjustment anyway. And then he comes in, he gets COVID, he gets an injury, half of our team gets injured. It was going to be a difficult situation no matter which way you sliced it. And it's the way his positioning was on the pitch. He was playing as a 6 on some games. He was playing as a double pivot. There was just so many different ways that they were trying to utilize him that it was just tough for him to adjust, I think. And now that we're finally starting to see some stability in there, we're starting to see some consistency in personnel in the middle of the pitch. I think you're going to start to see him shine. And I watched the other day when they were playing soccer tennis, or I think you guys call it keeping up the what do you call it, homie? The game on the game they had on YouTube where it's basically soccer tennis, but it's
yeah. I don't know the name of it. I know you're talking about.
It's called keep uppies or something weird like that. But he just seems to fit into the squad really well. So I'm excited to see this last run of games how he does, because I think that'll show us what the rest of his Liverpool career will look like.
Well, go ahead, homie.
I was going to say, you guys are going to say I can't add more to what you both just said. Yeah.
Well, Albert, I wanted to bring this up because Glenn brought up a good point here. The Lacazette does have a really good record against Liverpool, so he does think that he should start. I mean, do you take that into consideration at all?
You know what? To be fair, he raises a good point. Lacazette does have a good record against all the top 6 clubs. To be honest with you, that's one thing I do give him credit for. I still wouldn't start both of them. Like I said, you start one or the other. I just think that when you're playing that system, it's to me playing Aubameyang on the left I know people will say, "Oh yeah, but you know, the 2 seasons he scored a lot of goals, or 20+ goals. He came from the left." I understand that, but I just think when you're playing that system, you play one or the other. Lacazette for me plays better in that system because he's got a better all-round game. The only difference is Aubameyang's more of a lethal finisher and a better finisher. So that I understand why he tried to squeeze both of them in the team, but no, I'm not. That's not for me personally.
Well, Shane here does echo your sentiment that as an Arsenal fan, he has a better idea who's going to start at Liverpool and for Arsenal under Arteta. So definitely seems to be a little bit of frustration there. LFC Gamer, great point. It's going to be battle of receding hairlines here between Sadio Mane and
Oh, that is harsh. No, Aubameyang's hairline ain't that bad. Have you seen his hairstyle recent? Oh my god!
Yeah, the plaits.
Yikes!
Oh man!
Yikes!
Yeah. He
Almost looks like Gollum from The Hobbit with that hair. It's just like one strand here, one strand there. Not a good look. Not a good look. I guess he's trying to change it up a little bit. Maybe they'll give him confidence to get some goals. Some goals. Hopefully, he'll start after this match. But Andrew and Wahome, I want to ask you guys, going into this match, what are some of the key things that you guys are going to be watching for from a Liverpool perspective to try to get to 3 points here at the Emirates?
I think for me, it's going to be like the lineup's going to show us how much Klopp cares about the Premiership. So if Real Madrid run the corner, we're going to see how much priority. Because if he goes in the Arsenal game, puts the strongest team out, then he still believes he can get top 4. But if he puts out a weakened team, then he's given up on the league. And we're going to see weakened teams for the rest of the season now, with him focusing all the eggs in one basket on the Champions League. So that's going to be one thing I'm going to be looking at. And there's also just going to be looking at, Trent didn't go away with England. They dropped him. So he must be chomping at the bits to get back on the field and play some football and prove Southgate wrong that I should have been called up. And I think for Liverpool, I want us to show, just use this game as a benchmark for Madrid. Because if we can go to Madrid with a win, it's going to be much more better than going to Madrid game with a loss, or a draw. So, and obviously, the Bernabeu, it's going to be a hard place, just like the Emirates is a hard place to get a win. And for me, I feel that I was going to ask Albert, do you feel that Arsenal have been hurt? Because obviously Liverpool, we massively need the fans at Anfield. We've been hurt by that. Is that the same for Arsenal fans? Do you feel like the Emirates, Arsenal have suffered at home with not the fans not there, or do you feel like you're like a City who play better without the fans? Because City have been really good without the fans, while other teams have suffered.
I think it is a factor for I would say all the teams. You could even argue that's probably for some of the the lower end of the Premier League. Like Sheffield United, for me, they badly missed their fans.
Yeah,
I mean that's obvious to see, and they're going to go down. I think Liverpool, you could apply it to Liverpool. So I think what I would say about the fans thing is that I think Arteta's lucky at some stage of the season that fans weren't allowed into the stadium, because it could have turned very ugly. I mean, forget social media. Going to the games would have been the atmosphere would have been terrible at the Emirates if that was the case. Because for a stage of the season, the results weren't going very well. But you know what? I'm not even sure that even really affects Arsenal. From what I've seen this season, such a bad. The season's been crazy anyway. Just look at some of the results this season in the Premier League. It's like a season no other. We got games every 3-4 days. But in terms of the fans, mate, it is a factor, but I think it's affected other clubs worse than others. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but I just think it has. You can see it has.
But going back over to you, I mean, what do you think from a Liverpool perspective? Like, what's going to be important to you this weekend? Like, when we talked about the lineup, that's going to dictate a lot. But what are you keeping an eye out for?
I'd be very surprised if Klopp rotated. I think that we've had close to 2 to 3 weeks off, so I think that he's going to go with his best lineup, or he should at least go with his best lineup. We want to win every game. We don't want to just. And he always says that we take one game at a time. So Arsenal is the biggest game of the season right now. I think we need to beat Arsenal. We need to keep the top 4 hopes alive. And what better way to start against a massive, massive club like Arsenal? These players have had a lot of time off. We can afford to play them against Arsenal and against Real Madrid. So I think The one player I think could sneak into the lineup would be Naby Keita in the midfield. Maybe you bench Thiago or Genie. I don't know, but he's the one player that I think needs to get some minutes under him. Maybe this isn't the game. Maybe it's next weekend. But I mean, I would look for that to see what the lineup is going to be, and then I would also just I'm really curious to go back to somebody's point in the chat. Who he's going to choose up front? Are we going to go with Firmino up front, or are we going to go with Jota? And we were saying yesterday on Dave's LFC chat, I think it has to be Jota. He completely deserves to start. Bobby's, he's been injured for the past 3 games. He deserves the bench anyway. He hasn't put in the best performances pretty much for a whole season, and Jota has. And Jota has just been absolutely killing the international break, and he needs to be up there. I think we need something different up front, and he definitely provides that.
The one thing I'll say about the Jota Firmino thing, and I made the point yesterday as well, but I agree. I think it should be Jota, but the only thing is when you start Jota, you then don't have that guy to come off the bench who's going to change the game for you, because I don't think Firmino can be that guy. If you have the lead and then you can bring on a guy like Firmino, then that's great. But if you're in a position to be in a draw or you're chasing a win, you'd rather have a guy like Jota coming off the bench. So I do think it's going to be a little bit interesting, and it's also Jota play a lot of minutes over the international break. Firmino's coming back from injury, so it's going to be interesting to see how that is. That being said, I do think it should be Jota, because the movement of the front 3 when he's in there, they all interchange. It's very hard to defend against. Something else I'm keeping an eye out for too is Andy Robertson played 3 games over the international break, 90 minutes in every single one. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Samik has picked up a minor knock. I would not be surprised if Samik or James Milner at left back or something, because Robertson's played a ton of minutes for Liverpool, played a ton of minutes over the international break. He might need a rest going into that Real Madrid match.
He's gonna play Robertson. I guarantee he's gonna play Robertson.
I think Robertson will start, but I think Firmino will start over Jota this week against Arsenal. I think he's going to go with Firmino because of his record against Arsenal.
Yep.
I think for me, one thing I'm looking forward in this match is Fabinho versus Odegaard. I think that's going to be pivotal, because Odegaard plays where Fabinho patrols. So whoever comes out that wins that battle is going to go a long way to decide this game. So if Odegaard is dominating that game, then Fabinho's not doing his, Fabinho's struggling. If Fabinho puts in a masterclass like he did against Messi and all those kind of players, and he silences Odegaard, then Liverpool can win this game.
Well, that's a great kind of transition here to talk about some key matchups in the match. So you just talked about Fabinho and Odegaard, but Albert, from your perspective, what are some key matchups that you're keeping an eye out for that maybe Arsenal might be able to take advantage of, and then also vice versa, some matchups that you might be concerned about from an Arsenal perspective?
Well, when I touched on earlier about the Arsenal starting lineup, which is difficult to kind of manage, I think if we're going to get any joy, I don't know what your centre back pairings have been like recently. Liverpool,
Kabak and Phillips. Kabak and Phillips is going to be our
22nd pairing.
You've had a lot of pairings, about
it's 20 plus. I know that.
Yeah,
26 actually.
Yeah,
is it 26? Okay, there you go.
Oh wow. So no, if that obviously, because Liverpool have had some issues in terms of, like you mentioned, centre back pairings and the consistency of it or lack of it, because you have so many different sort of pairings. Aubameyang, I think, will start on Saturday, but I wouldn't be against it if they go for Lacazette. Again, he's got a good, like Glenn mentioned in the chat earlier, he's got a very good record against actually all the top 6 sides, to be fair. And you're playing against 2 centre backs. I think physicality wise, Lacazette will be a better fit to start that game, but I don't think he will. So that'd be a key battle. Hopefully, if Saka's fit, Saka, you could play him anywhere, man. The right of a free, the left of a free. I think you can probably play in goal as well, to be fair, if you wanted to. But no, I think his best position is on the right of the free. But like I said, it's difficult. I think the key battle is always, for me, when you're playing the big games, especially, it's the midfield battle. As Wahomie mentioned, if you got Fabinho back in there, that's a massive, massive plus for you guys, man. Like having him in centre back was just detrimental. I know you had a lot of injuries, but you're missing that. That's a big miss, man. That's like us playing party at centre back if we haven't got any centre backs. It's not good. It's going to be detrimental to the team. So I guess it's going to depend how you two guys, how Liverpool sort of, if Xhaka and Partey do start, which I think they probably will, how the Liverpool guy, because I know Liverpool are sort of into the high pressing game. Are you prepared to do that in the first 15, 20 minutes to put a bit of pressure? Because the lack of mobility that, for example, Granit Xhaka has. So the in midfield battle will be very, very interesting. Very interesting.
I think this game could be very similar to Liverpool game versus Tottenham when we play them away, in terms of Tottenham had the chances, Liverpool had the chances, and it was very kind of end to end in a way for Pitt, where people they were going battle and tongs. So I think it's going to be very similar to that game, because I think we both play similar in a way in terms of high pressing and way. So yeah, I agree with you. Midfield battle is going to be key. I think for me in this game is the fact that this is going to be the first time where Philip and Kabak are going to really be tested, because while they've played well against Leipzig, against Wolves, they've not really been tested by pacey forward. So Arsenal are going to have Aubameyang or Lacazette. Those are the pacey guys who are clinical. So it's going to be the real test to see for me how good a Kabak and Phillips really are, because I don't feel they've been tested properly against the pacey forward line. So this is going to be the first challenge for us before we play Real Madrid. He's also going to test us. So I'm curious to see how we handle an Aubameyang or Lacazette, and the communication to stop Odegaard or Saka, or if it's Pepe, that communication there. So that's going to be interesting.
Also, I think Mane will be. I think he'd be licking his lips if he sees Bellerin on the team sheet at right back.
That's what I was going to ask you. I feel like Callum Chambers should start in that right-hand side. Those two have always gone at it the past 2 years. It's been a great matchup.
You know what? It's not a bad shot, because you speak to any Arsenal fan, no one saw that coming in that team lineup against West Ham that Callum Chambers was going to start. I mean, if anyone says they saw that he was going to start, then they're definitely lying through their teeth, because I never saw that coming. I get why he played, because he gave us more physicality and height-wise against West Ham. We were pretty decent from set pieces and in the air with Souček and Mikel Antonio. So I got it, but obviously he gave us more of an attacking outlet on the right back. The joke was going around calling him Cafu Chambers, for example, but getting good deliveries into the box. But yeah, it depends. I mean, I would personally prefer to have Cedric at right back, but I'm just going by what I think Mikel Arteta will do, rather than as an Arsenal fan what I would like, because what I would like and what Arteta does is two very different things. So I think I'd expect to see Hector Bellerin start on the weekend.
Yeah, I think Wahome. I mean, from my perspective, I think Wahome nailed it too. I think the center backs going against either Lacazette or Aubameyang up there. I think that's going to be the key matchup for me. They really haven't been tested by people with any pace yet, and us playing a high line, that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye out for, in my opinion. But then also, I think on the other side, thinking from Liverpool attacking, I really want to see how Salah does going against whoever you're going to be playing at left back. If he can take advantage of that matchup and play like the Egyptian king that he is, it's going to be tough to keep him out of the back of the net. And if he can get some momentum too going into Real Madrid, that'd be massive. So
don't worry, Kieran Tierney will do that. Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Salah's interview with Marsa?
I just think it's all about new contract for me, because I think he knows Madrid and Barcelona can't afford it. Liverpool aren't going to sell him this summer, so it's all about new contract. It's all about trying to force our hand to give him a new contract and probably give him kind of credible terms. So, but it's not helping him, because Liverpool are obviously going to take their time, because they know he's still got at least 3 years in his deal. So there's no we don't have to give him a contract now as he wanted. So I don't think it's that. I just think it's just he's doing stupid stuff and listening to his agent. His agent's an idiot, and that's where it's coming from.
Most agents are, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the problem. That's him, his agent. And obviously it's the same agent that doesn't protect him when he goes into international duty and he gets mobbed after a game.
That was absurd.
Yeah, that was crazy. I saw it. I was like, what?
Unbelievable. Nobody's wearing masks either. It's just like,
How old Salah now? Was he said he's got 3 years left in his contract, is he?
Yeah, 29 now.
Wow.
29 going 30s.
Okay. I thought he was a bit younger, but no, that's okay.
But he's going for Golden Boot, so he's trying to challenge Kane for Golden Boot. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be his mind. That he hasn't scored, didn't score against Wolves, so it's going to be his mind like I want to get the Golden Boot. And he missed a good chance against Wolves where he should have scored. So I think that's going to be playing in his mind. But yeah, it'll be a good tussle between him and Bellerin. Going to be interested in that because there's all that big debate throughout this international break. Because Bellerin got Tierney got 3 assists. So that big debate whenever Tierney gets an assist, Arsenal fans come out and say he's better than Robbo. And it's like
I knew this was coming. I know a couple of Scottish, not even they're not. One's an Arsenal fan, one's a Man United fan actually. And the thing with Kieran Tierney is funny because like the guys I know, they said why are Arsenal fans surprised how good Kieran Tierney is? And I said this is what I'm trying to say. Like I think the problem is it's a snobbery thing with some of the Arsenal fan base. Like it's the SPL and. I said, yeah, but if you watch the player, he's a winner. Whether you have an issue with the quality of the Scottish league, I wanted Kieran Tierney at Arsenal for about 3 years, and we've got him, and that's why I don't understand why Arsenal fans are surprised how good he is. And like, but I've been telling you this for years. It's crazy, man. But the Robertson thing, it's a good debate, man. Look, I think Tierney has to play centre back, doesn't he, for Scotland, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's still got 3 assists. Not bad, is it?
Not bad.
Yeah, but you have to remember. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
The whole debates thing you always see online just makes me laugh because like you always see like the Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes. You see the Trent, Reece James, Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. You see the Tierney and the Robertson. And it's just like, oh wow, breaking news, guys! Like supporters of their club think that their player is better than their rival club. Yeah. It's like, guys.
So true.
How are people shocked about this all the time? It just blows my mind. And I sit there on my phone and I'm like trying so much. Don't respond. Do not respond. Like, but no, I mean it's a fun debate to have, especially the Tierney Robertson one, because I literally think like if Tierney was on Liverpool, we would rate him highly. I do rate him highly. You know what I mean? It's like. If I can't have Robertson, my next pick would be Tierney. You know what I mean? Maybe Cancelo's in that conversation too. But those 3, in my opinion, are in a class of their own in the Premier League. So.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see who wins out when we pick our starting 11 between both teams.
I think that's a perfect transition. So
there you go. This should be fun.
Yeah. So anyone in the chat, you guys have seen us do this a couple times against the big clubs. We're going to do our combined 11. Based off of not based off ability, based off of form this season alone.
Current season form.
Current season. The only thing is because Arsenal kind of goes more with a 4-2-3-1 and Liverpool plays a 4-3-3. What formation are we going to go with?
Ooh.
Still do a 4-3-3, I think.
I still think 4-3-3 too, but
I mean, obviously I'll disagree, but that's fine. It's your channel, so I have to.
Damn right. Damn right. So. We'll start with goalkeeper. I don't know if there's going to be much argument here. I mean, I think it's Alisson. I think he's
what?
Nice
on form.
Yeah, why not?
I must have watched a different goalkeeper, man. Currently on form now.
Yeah,
the whole season.
Oh, the whole season, like based off this season.
Well, I'll probably still get. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's clear cut at all.
Oh,
yeah, I actually think it's close.
Yeah, of course it's true.
I was probably leaning to the whole season. I think
Alisson's made some ricks, man.
I was leaning to Leno over the whole season. Because I think Alisson's made some errors. I think there are points where he didn't play that well. He also had that injury, so I think that took him out for a bit. I think Leno's played more.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah. Listen. I have my misgivings with Leno sometimes, but I think me personally, I think Leno should come in. Leno gets in.
Well, that's just being unbiased. Not that obviously.
I'll give you Leno.
I'll remember that. I'm gonna remember this when the Robertson.
We get to the left back though. I'm coming for you.
Arsenal people, come on, man. Come in the chat, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. All right. No, I mean, I will say, I mean, Alisson did make mistakes in back-to-back games there, but he also has made some key freaking saves as well. But we'll let that go. We'll say Leno. We'll say Leno.
Yes. Glenn, man, Glenn, what are you talking about, man? We just got Leno with the team, man. Yeah, I said to Leno, I saw the end bit gone. Yeah, come on. Yeah, Leno.
Yeah, he's on 55 Leno.
So anyway, right back's an interesting one for me, because Trent offensively hasn't been really the same this year, but I also think that defensively he's been a lot better this season. But what are your guys' thoughts on this matchup?
Who else is not Bellerin?
Oh man, jeez.
Well, yeah, you guys haven't had a consistent back.
That's the problem. Bellerin, Cedric. Oh man.
Chambers has been over there
for a couple of games. Yeah. Oh, it'd have to be Bellerin because he's played more games, isn't he?
Yeah, based off of appearances, it looks like Bellerin's played the most for Arsenal.
But Trent hasn't been good this season, has he?
So that's the thing is, like, if you look at his stats defensively and everything, it's actually he's one of his best seasons defensively, if not his best. He's leading tackle success rate and all that stuff. It's just offensively he has not been the usual Trent. Has
Bellerin been good? I don't think so.
Ask that to the rest of the other Arsenal fans on Twitter, man, because I see something very different when he puts on an Arsenal shirt.
Glenn's got a point here. May have to give it this one to Nico Williams.
You know why he says that? Because I don't think it's even with the right back. I don't think any of them have been good this season for both clubs.
No, that's the thing. I think it's you're picking. You're either picking shit or crap. You know what I mean? It's one of the two.
I would give it to Trent. I have to concede that one.
Yeah. All right. Still go Trent there. Now center back partnership. So for us, I think it has, like, from a Liverpool perspective, with the injuries and everything, it's only Kabak or Phillips as our options here. So I think because of that, Jesus,
I think the back's getting.
Yeah, I don't think over the whole season, I don't think anyone else in the back's getting it.
Oh, that's all right. All right, we've won that one. That's an easy one. All right, so it'd be Gabriel and David Luiz.
David Luiz is getting to our starting 11. What?
You know why? But one, he's played a lot of games. He's played in the big games as well. Rob Holding had a period where he was doing okay. Yeah, but he's part of a back four or centre back pairing that were keeping a lot of clean sheets at one point, which resulted in us having sort of the second best defensive record in the league. But I'm not Rob Holding's biggest fan, but I think in terms of the bigger games this season, Luiz, he is what it is with him. A mistake is always there, but I think in terms of the season, it'd be him and Gabriel.
Cool. Well, I'll give you that from my point of view. I'll give you that.
I know that's hard for you guys to stop at that, but
I can't believe that. Yeah, we have David Luiz in a combined 11 for these two clubs, but I think it has to be. I think that's the only thing that's unfortunately. God, this team would get steamrolled.
Yeah. The team's going to let in some goals.
Oh, God. All right. Left back.
Bravo. Taking it.
No, Tierney all day, man. If it's this season, Tierney's been outstanding. Outstanding. Robertson, don't get me wrong, I actually like Andy Robertson, even when he's at Hull City, to be fair. But no, not this season, man. Tierney all day long. And you guys know that I can see it in your faces. It's definitely Kieran Tierney. You know that.
I gave you Leno, man. Come on.
Even Gary, big up Gary. He's right. Yeah, the whole backline Arsenal, man. Definitely.
God.
Apart from Trent, sorry. But then he's right. Yeah, Kieran Tierney gets in, man. 100%. And that's not even being biased. That's the truth.
I'm not conceding, but if these two concede, then you win. So
let's see what you saying.
Tierney's been really good this season.
Brilliant.
Yes, I'll give you that. He has been good.
Brilliant. They're not good. Brilliant.
I don't know. I mean, because up until about a month or two ago. Actually, I'd say maybe about a month ago. You could argue that Robertson's been one of our best players this season. He was really the only guy who was consistent. He was the only guy offering something creative coming from the midfield or the back.
That's not saying much, though.
I know it's not saying much. That's the thing. And Tierney, I mean, there's no denying what Tierney's done either.
Superb. Brilliant. He's in.
My
All
point
right,
of view.
I'll give you turn. I'll give you Tierney.
Yeah,
And Tierney's been playing well in a poor Arsenal side this season.
I'll give you him as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say no comment. So
But Robertson's the better player. I'm gonna say.
You'll get it, Tierney. Whatever. But this is where it's gonna get fun for us now. Okay, so let's go with the midfield three, starting with the sixth position. It's Fabinho. He's the best in the world. It's Fabinho.
But we didn't. Yeah. I'd have to say Fabinho because
Fabinho has to be in the lineup.
I was going to say Fabinho at centre back because he did play for a good period at centre back earlier, but then I'm going to put him centre CDM. He has to be for form wise. He's been really good.
Even I have to concede that.
Yeah,
I Fabinho. I like Fabinho. It's a good player. Very good player.
Fabinho. So it's Fabinho. So then here, I guess technically the 8 role, the box to box midfielder.
Ooh, oh dear.
Because honestly, I think, in my opinion, I think the attacking midfielder. I mean, would Odegaard be an option because you came in January? Because I think it would be him. But if he's not qualified, then this is where I think it might have to be like a Gini Wijnaldum and then maybe somebody else. I don't know.
Odegaard's only been there for a certain period. He has to the whole season, so you can't. It's like us including Thiago.
We might get that in pretty quickly. Because we've got obviously we had Partey, we've got Xhaka, and it would be ESR or Odegaard. So is you playing in free in the midfield, aren't you?
Yeah,
I think ESR should get in over Odegaard. I think he's been resilient.
Yeah, I agree. Because the length of time that he's been here,
like a Wijnaldum and ESR.
I can give you white. I can give you white, but I have to have ESR in there, man.
No, I agree. No, I think ESR would be the attacking mid in that threesome.
Happy with that. Very happy with that.
You're getting away with murder over here, man.
No, this is facts, man. This is not murder. It's brilliant, man. This is one of the best I've ever had.
Man's like, yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Okay. Okay, man. Okay.
The attack one's interesting now because, like, this one gets interesting. I think Salah has to go in there because he's
Salah has to go in.
One of the top scorer, his joint top goal scorer, still. So,
I think it's Salah, Jota, Mane. Sorry.
Saka's been good this season, but he would get in. He would get in if he got in, he'd be in the front three. So
I'd have Saka in the team myself because I think he's been outstanding this year.
You can't have Mane and Salah both in the team, man.
I wouldn't have Mane in the team.
Mane doesn't get in.
Wow, that's what makes it easier for me, man. Yeah, cool.
Mane's been shocking this year, so I wouldn't have him in the team. He wouldn't be anywhere near the team.
No, Saka would definitely get in.
Okay, I can do Saka, Jota, Salah.
Actually, you know what? I can't even sit here and lie because anyone that's seen my content, I've been on the strikers this season at Arsenal. All of them. I've not been happy with none of them this season. So, Saka definitely has to get in that team, that front three, man. 100%. Yeah.
So,
Saka on the right or the left?
Saka on the left.
Okay, right, because you're Salah on the right, innit? Okay.
Yeah, Salah on the right, Jota as striker.
Yeah, I won't disagree. I know he got injured.
Get Willian in there.
Yeah, we can get him on the bench, man. Sorry,
most expensive 11. That's what we'll do. Most expensive salary.
What manager? What manager?
It's Klopp. Come on now.
Come on! Don't just dismiss my boss like that, man. Come on, man.
Oh, come on.
So you are Arteta in.
No, that's his birthday the other day. I have to give him a bit of a happy birthday, boss, man. But no, I have to give you obviously Klopp in it. That's fine. But yeah, Saka, man, definitely.
Yeah.
So how many Arsenal players do I get in?
So all right, we got six Arsenal. We got six Arsenal players, but then we got Klopp as the Liverpool manager there. So it's a draw, 6-6.
I'm happy to get 6 Arsenal players.
What about fan base? Who is the better fan base?
You know what I'm gonna say? Arsenal, right? I'll tell you why.
What?
You know why? I can tell you why, right?
12th man. 12th man.
Every person you talked about today, every player you talked about today, you said Arsenal split.
You know what? I've got a lot of mates that are Liverpool fans, and I've not heard from them for months. No, I've been serious. I've not heard a peep from them.
There's nothing really to say, man.
Well, yeah, but Arsenal fans, we don't hide. You know, we don't hide. When we're getting slapped, winning, losing, beat up, we're there, man. Twitter,
Yeah,
Instagram.
Albert, you don't stay to the end. When you lose a game, the Emirates is empty at half time. Liverpool stay to the end to sing our fan. Our team.
No, the Emirates is never empty at half time, man. No, definitely not.
I swear, when you lost to Barcelona years ago, Messi scored that hat trick.
Oh yeah, but that's Barcelona. Come on, man. That's
but the Emirates, I think you were 4-0 down at half time or something. The Emirates was empty at emptied.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago, man. That's a poor example, man. But we don't hide, man. Our fans do not hide through thick and thin. We don't just shout from the rooftops when we're successful, man. No, when we take the pain, man. We now take the pain. Our Liverpool fans, I'm not too sure if you guys, whether you do that or not, But,
no, it's 29 years of no winning the league title. What are you talking about? We're taking enough pain, bro.
I think it is the Liverpool fans, right? The ones that I know anyway. In that 2013-14 season, right? I remember it like it was yesterday. About a good 7-8 games to go of the season, maybe even 8. They were every week Facebook, we're gonna win the league, and I said to a couple of them, I said, look, relax. I said, trust me, it's been a long time since Liverpool won the league. I said, just don't say nothing because you're not gonna do yourself any favors. And then you know what happened for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I got ready to that season because I don't know. My best mate is an Arsenal fan, so we go in gym every day. Every day I was like, we're gonna win the league, win the league. But he laughed at me so hard.
I saw it every single day on Twitter. And I waited till the end of the season when we won that we beat Hull in the FA Cup final. I said, look, now I'm gonna say something. I said to him, I told you, I said, do your talking at the end of the season. And they weren't listening. I'm old enough to remember Liverpool winning the old first division, 89, 90. That's a long time ago. So yeah, man, I think some Liverpool fans have learned their lesson from 6-7 years ago. They've kind of tapered, but some of them just get too carried away, and you can't help everyone, innit?
Yeah, we still got a lot of those who get carried away and get.
Every team does.
Every fan base. The one thing that Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans can agree on is that our cities are red. That's the one thing we can all agree on.
True.
So, London is red. Merseyside is red. No questions asked there.
You know what I see in the chat? It's a good point. Is it Shan Samuel?
Yeah.
And about the midfield combo, and he's saying that Xhaka should have got in over Genie. Or it's a Genie, but Partey you can't really because he's been injured for a bulk of it, man.
Yeah, agreed. Nah, Shane's our resident Arsenal fan. We love him, but he's an Arsenal. He's all Arsenal all the time. So, and I think he goes back from Arteta in and Arteta out per when goals get scored. I think he changes it, depending.
that happens a lot on Twitter, man. Trust me.
You love him. He's a good man. He knows his stuff. He's a good supporter there. But to wrap up the show here, this has been a ton of fun. Everyone in the chat, we love you guys. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't. Go check out AlbertJTV if you haven't yet either. But let's close out with our official predictions. Let's kind of go. Let's go clockwise around here. So, Scans, to start with you. Your official prediction for Saturday.
2-0. Clean sheet. Kabak and Phillips. They get the job done. They've played 4 games together now. It's a growing partnership. Keep them this summer. Laka's going to be quiet. Aubameyang with the new dude is going to be quiet. And Fabinho is going to put Odegaard on his ass. That's what's going to happen.
I like this smack talk, man.
You have to do it.
Yeah, of course. All
right, well, homie.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Liverpool. I think it's going to be end-to-end game. I think it's going to be one of those games where, it's squeaky bum time, where you're either team are wondering. I think it's going to be much better the Tottenham game, where we win it like in the final 10 minutes. You know,
Who scores for you?
It's a difficult one. I think it's a difficult one because I think
That's 2 for me.
I think for Arsenal side, I reckon. I think he'll go with Laka on Saturday, and I think he'll score because he always scores against us. For us, I think depends who goes. I think if he plays Salah, if he plays Bobby, then I think Salah and Mane. If he doesn't play Bobby, then I think Jota will score because he's been in clinical form, and I think it'll be Salah as well. But yeah, I'm going for 2-1.
Nah, he's not. I'm looking at to see if he saying it with confidence. I can see some trepidation. Man. He's too casual in his chair, man. His scans were saying it with his chest, man. But I'm seeing. I'm not sure.
I'm not sitting on my chest because, like, I don't know what team Klopp's going to put out. It all depends on the team he puts out. Like, so I don't know. I need to see the team, but I feel 2-1. But then I could also see what Glenn's saying at 2-2.
Yeah, Glenn, I'm just going to say that the bookies have it at 2.5, so I'm going with the under.
Ooh, Benny man over here. All right, Albert, give it to us.
Arsenal's going to win 4-0.
Oh my God! With your chest, hot take.
No. No, you know what? Arsenal haven't kept. If I'm right, Arsenal haven't kept a clean sheet for I think is it 11 or 12 consecutive games. So we won't keep a clean sheet. I know that. I think we'll sneak it like we did last season. 2-1. 2-1 to the Arsenal. Come on, boys.
So Glenn in here. He loves the panel. We appreciate you, Glenn. We'd love to have you on sometime as well. You're not going to be us this weekend, though. Sorry. Shane as well. Thank you for coming over from the Arsenal side. We appreciate you. We got the 2-2 here. I'm going to say this aloud with my chest. It's going to be 4-1 Liverpool. Bobby Firmino is going to start. He's going to get on the score sheet. And then Mo Salah against Kieran Tierney is going to get a hat trick. Let's go. Let's go, boy.
You know what's going to happen? That Tierney's going to bang one in from like 25 yards.
Probably.
Leno will turn into Buffon against us.
Oh, God. No, I think Leno might have hopefully it'll be all right tomorrow. I mean, on Saturday.
Honestly, I hope it's an awesome. I hope they're both hungry to get 3 points. Obviously, I hope Liverpool comes out with it. But I just want to see a good Premier League match. And it's going to be nice to have it back on Saturday, that's for sure. But the chat, you guys were on fire. Appreciate you guys.
You got the guys.
Albert, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was an awesome show. When next season rolls around, we're definitely going to be in touch. We definitely want to have you back because this was a ton of fun with you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the love, man. Even though I'm a gooner, I have to come and represent my people. Big up the people in the chat, man. Coming out in full.
I'll tell you what, after Saturday, definitely be pulling for you guys. I hope you guys pull out to Europa. That'd be absolutely awesome. And other than that, best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll definitely be in touch. And all the Arsenal fans, if you don't follow him yet, go follow him right now. God damn it. Otherwise, we appreciate you all. Up the Reds. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Friday's final word. So take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Like and subscribe.